to the 2010 MLG DC Bracket Show presented by Old Spice. I'm Shibby, and joining me today, as always, Dmaq and Chris Puckett. Guys, you've stressed the importance of DC time and time again. Why?
Well, Shibby, DC is the last chance for our Halo 3 teams to earn rank points towards the Dallas Championships. You know, for a lot of the teams, especially the ones 7 through whatever, it's their last chance to earn points, and they need to earn enough points to be in the top 8 to get that invite going into Dallas.
Yeah, Shibby, the level of competition is so deep, yet only 8 teams are going to make it to our national champions. It's tough, man. You see a lot of big names battle out all season long, put in a lot of hard work, but they're just not going to get to our championships.
Yeah, definitely DC is going to be hectic for sure. So let's take a look at the standings. Now, guys, the standings are determined by a rolling rank point system. Teams are ranked by their finishes in their last 4 tournaments. That means that following DC, teams will only be ranked by their 2010 Pro Circuit rank points. After looking at the current standings and analyzing the possible outcomes in DC, Instinct, Final Boss, and Status Quo have secured a spot in the National Championships. Meanwhile, Triggers Down, Believe the Hype, and Dynasty have also claimed spots in Dallas, unless 2 teams from outside the top 8 finish first or second, something that has never happened in MLG history. Listed in red, Straight Rippin' and Carbon, who are both within top 8, are in danger of failing to qualify. Besides Carbon and Straight Rippin', Warriors, Purgatory, and Heaven and Earth are gunning for those final 2 spots. Every other team competing in DC will need to win the tournament to qualify for Dallas. So let's take a look at the matchup involving our bubble teams. The first matchup being Heaven and Earth versus Carbon.
Carbon finds themselves in a very tough position here. Walshy in jeopardy of not making his first national championship. SK, someone who just led a dynasty in Halo 3, finds himself in a position not to make the championship. They have Soldier and Chig, 2 players who placed second at last year's national championship. They're in jeopardy, but when you see 4 players who have been around the way for a long time, they tend to step their game up when their backs up are against the wall, and that's what I think Carbon is going to do here. Walshy, I can't imagine him not being in a national championship, guys. I think he's going to really put his hard work and dedication into this tournament, especially. This is the most important tournament for Walshy ever. I think Carbon is going to win this matchup.
You know, Dmaq, Carbon, win the matchup. I just don't even like saying that. I wish I could say nice things about Carbon, but I really can't. If you look at Walshy and SK's performance the last couple of events, Walshy looked great in Columbus. Raleigh, not so much. They add Soldier 187 and Chig to the squad, 2 guys who have always been wild cards in my eyes. I never know how they're going to perform. But on the other side, they're going up against a squad that I think I can bank on. That's Heaven and Earth. Strong side and Cypher. These guys have looked amazing when I see them on the main stage. Dursky's pulling his weight, and I think this squad just all around has more talent. I think they have more teamwork, and they have more drive coming into this match. I think, once again, you'll see Carbon getting upset early in the tournament.
All right, well, I'm going to have to agree with Puckett. Heaven and Earth is going to beat Carbon here.
How? They're the most negative top 10 team.
It doesn't matter. Look at Carbon. They've been a slow decline all season long. So, Heaven and Earth over Carbon here. So let's take a look at another bubble matchup. This one is between Purgatory and Dynasty. Dynasty's in great shape to make it to the championships, but Purgatory, they need a win here.
Yeah, I think Dynasty actually has this one in the bag. Dynasty, yes, they lose to Zoxic, but they add Hines. And now when you're looking at this squad, you just got to see that they have 4 of the best supporting players in the entire game, all on the same lineup. I think Clutch, he showed off what he could do with the sniper rifle. I'm expecting him to step up as the main slayer going into this event. I think all around this team is going to focus on the objective. They're going to do whatever it takes to win. I love Purgatory. I'd love to see Karma back in the championships. I don't see it happening though here. I just see Dynasty. They're going to be too strong for Purgatory, although I wish Purgatory would pull out the upset.
Well, let's focus on Dynasty first. When you look at the Dynasty squad, like you said, they lost to Zoxic, someone who went plus 70 in Raleigh, completely dominated the tournament, and you replace him with Hines. He was the most negative player on Believe the Hype. He didn't have a good tournament. He's been having a pretty average season, all season long, not something that you would see out of the best overall player of 2009.
But he's been uncomfortable. He's going to find that comfort zone on Dynasty.
Well, either way, when you look at Purgatory, I talked to Karma the other day. He said he cannot believe that he finds himself in a position to not make a national championship. He's really been revitalized by this position. He realizes what the hard work and dedication really means, and he's going to get back in it. I think Karma, Killer Drew, and the rest of Purgatory is going to step up here. I think Purgatory, they know they need to win this matchup. Now, that's something that they realize. It's the biggest matchup that they have. Purgatory is going to step up.
Yeah, the pressure's on Purgatory. Dynasty, you better not be sleeping.
Well, yep. Purgatory is going to step it up here, but they're not going to beat Dynasty. I'm sorry, Dmaq.
Ooh, man.
You're going to have to go and advance. Go ahead and advance Dynasty on this one. So Dynasty over Purgatory. That leads us to our last key matchup between bubble teams in round 2, and this one is between Straight Rippin' and Warriors. Guys, this is the Old Spice swagger match right here. Why?
When you look at Straight Rippin', you have T Squared, Ghost Yami, Nated, Defy, all in a position where they might not make a national championship. That's unheard of. T2 is the face of our league, and he might not make the national championship. He just hasn't found his groove. But guess what? Last tournament, T2 came in plus 59, 7th most positive player. They pick up Nated and Defy, 2 players who have been absolutely dominant. You love them, Puckett. I think this new Straight Rippin' squad, they're going to be a lot different from the last 2 Straight Rippin' squads that we've seen. Straight Rippin' is going to turn it around this tournament.
Well, Straight Rippin', of course, we all love these guys. They've been the veterans. They've been in every single championship, basically, up to this point. But you have to look at the team they're playing against, and that's Warriors. This is a team that has created upsets in round 2, this round, and our last 2 events. Warriors is the team that, if anyone's going to do it, will pull out the upsets. Robbie B, I'm looking to you. You are the one who needs to catch fire for this squad. I think it's going to be tough, but if it goes to Game 5, Warriors has proven that they can pull it out. I think they could do it again. Straight Rippin'. I know they haven't even touched Halo Reach. They have been purely focused on Halo 3. It means everything in the world to them. But if Warriors pulls out this upset, they are in the best chance, they're in the best position to knock Straight Rippin' out of that top 8 spot. They could see themselves headed to Dallas.
Well, Dmaq, I'm going to have to agree with you on this one. I just cannot imagine a national championship without T Squared, Ghost Yami, or Nated. I just do not see that happening. Straight Rippin's going to do what they have to do to be ready for this one. Straight Rippin advances. That's going to do it for our bubble matchups. When we come back, we'll take a look at our top 4 teams in DC.
Hi, I'm Ray Lewis. Women want me, men want to be me, and animals want to learn how to talk so they can hang out with me. Do you want to know why?
Why?
Old Spice Showtime deodorant.
That makes sense.
Welcome back to the MLG DC Bracket Show presented by Old Spice. Let's talk about the teams we'll likely be seeing on our Doritos Saturday night broadcast. We're going to assume that our top 4 seeds reach the semifinals, so the first match we'll be taking a look at will be Instinct versus Triggers Down.
And a much improved Triggers Down squad, Shibby. When you look at what Triggers Down has done this season, they were abysmal at the beginning of the season, and they really made steady improvements, made good pickups all season long. You saw Tots and Best Man added to the squad, and now they are a solid 4-man team, and they've really been improving. A 3rd-place finish in Raleigh. This Instinct squad obviously going to be a very tough matchup for them, but if Triggers Down comes out and they really play to their full potential, I could see them winning this matchup.
I can definitely see them winning if they play up to their potential, but are you going to say they're going to win?
I'm going to say that I could see them winning this matchup.
All right. So Dmac's not going to call a winner, but
really
I am.
sure.
I think Instinct is going to take this one. Yes, Triggers Down. They look like a great squad. Right now, in my eyes, I think they're a top 4. Definitely they belong where their seat is. But I don't see them getting past Instinct here. Roy, once again, the best player in the league at our last event in Raleigh. I think he's going to come in just as strong into DC. Cloud, he had a little bit of a rougher tournament in Raleigh in my eyes. I think he's going to step his game up once again. This one's not going to 5 games. Instinct is not going to put themselves back in that position like they did in the Losers Bracket Finals back in Raleigh. I think Instinct's going to win this one 3-1 in this series.
Both teams are going to come in strong to this tournament, but I'm going to have to agree with Puckett here. Instinct's going to be too good against Triggers Down. They've only lost to one other team the entire season, and that's Final Boss, not Triggers Down. So Instinct advances here, and that's going to move us on to our next blockbuster matchup between Status Quo and Final Boss. Guys, talk to me.
Well, this is the matchup that I've been waiting for all weekend long. Status Quo and Final Boss, and you guys might call me a little crazy here, but I'm going to say this is the matchup between the best team in the league and the 2nd best team in the league. Yes, I'm calling Status Quo the 2nd best team in the league, Puckett, and when I look at the duo of Flame Sword and Enable, I call it the deadliest duo in the league. I think they are the best when it comes to Flamesword being a captain, a leader, Enable has been a monster slayer all season long. If Assault and Ace step up their game, this could be a bad matchup for Final Boss. You have to remember, Final Boss hasn't played Status Quo in a very long time. They haven't landed with Status Quo. They haven't seen Status Quo. Status Quo has run into Instinct every single tournament. This could be an upset team for Final Boss.
Well, you know I love SQ, Dmaq, but they're not better than Final Boss. Let's get that clear. And they're definitely not better than Instinct. They are not the second best team in the league. You know, I think they're the fourth best team in the league, and they've proven that by getting fourth place at every event so far. They always buckle when the pressure comes on. I think Final Boss is going to bring that pressure. Flamesword, he's the best captain in the league, but he's not good enough to carry the team against Final Boss here. I think Pistola and crew just going to be too strong here. Final Boss is going to take this series.
You know, Puckett, I'm really adamant about disagreeing with you here. This is going to be much closer than everybody thinks. Status Quo has really stepped up. Even though they've placed fourth, they've looked a lot better than just a fourth place team.
If Final Boss doesn't win this one 3-1, I'll give you $5.
And then you can buy me a milkshake.
Done.
Fine, done.
But you know, Dmaq, I am going to have to agree with Puckett on this one.
Man, fine, go ahead.
It's Final Boss over Status Quo. That's exactly just what I'm going to have to do.
I realize I'm going against the norm on this one. It's okay.
So once again, if everything goes according to plan, like we thought it would on the last bracket show, we'll see a rematch in the winners bracket finals between Instinct and Final Boss.
This is going to be a big matchup. And when teams are this close, Puckett, you really have to decipher the game, and you do that by looking at the game types. And when I looked at the game types, I saw Final Boss had a great advantage in the winners bracket finals. In fact, if you measure up the first 4 games, Final Boss edges them out in a 7-to-1 ratio. Final Boss is going to come out to a great start. I think FB continues to be the top dog in the game. They're going to win this matchup and get another first place finish.
All right, well, you know, I have to agree. I think Final Boss is the #1 team in the league, but don't count on Instinct here. Instinct, they beat Final Boss back in Columbus. Final Boss, they look stronger in Raleigh, but I don't think Instinct was trying their hardest. I think El Might Warrior had a terrible tournament. I think he's going to turn on the Jets coming into DC here. Instinct will take it to Game 5. It's a toss-up in that Game 5. Neither team really having a huge advantage when it comes to previous performances. I think I got to go with my gut here, though. Final Boss, once again, I think is going to advance to your winners bracket finals and become the champions.
So Final Boss, once again, our experts' favorite to win. All right, guys, that's going to do it for our Old Spice DC Bracket Show. DC is going to be a blast, so make sure you check out the broadcast all weekend long, starting October 15th on MLGpro.com. For Chris Puckett and Dmaq, I'm Shibby. Good night.